Alrighty guys, we're back for some mono red burn. Let's go. I'm excited. This one was actually pretty hard to put together. There was like, I don't know, finding the right balance and an amount of certain cards to actually add to the deck. With the current standard, it's just a bunch of rune decks running around. So pretty much no matter what, Burn's going to have an issue when you go up against a deck that runs that much lifelink, right? So yeah, this was a tough one, but I think we landed on something that's pretty solid, or at least fun, which is all that matters, right? So, for anyone who may not know, I'm Red Cat, and I play aggro decks and any decks with red in them as well. Additionally, guys, we do got that sub goal of 1,000, and if you want to help us reach that goal, it is much appreciated, friends. So thank you, thank you. All right, let's go over the deck, then hop into some ranked. We do have 4 Play with Fires, that's obvious. We got a couple Spikefield Hazards. I think doubling as a land is really important, and I tried to fit more of these, but in the long run, coming in tapped does affect the deck, so yeah, I'm going to drag this into the mana base though. We have 2 March of the Reckless Joys. You could totally run more if you wanted. It's a pretty darn solid card, honestly, and you could totally get away with running 4 actually, because worst comes to worst, you can just discard, or I'm sorry, exile a March to the other March, which is pretty darn spicy, honestly. Couple Cathartic Pyres, because you know, sometimes discarding up to 2 cards then drawing that many is pretty important in a deck like this, and removal is really important in the current standard. We have 4 Roil Eruptions, and don't forget the kicker cost, right? So you could spend 7 mana to have this deal 5 damage, and sometimes it's easy to forget because 7 mana is a lot, but yeah, that's the thing. 2 Smoldering Eggs, which is interesting in here, right? I think that flipping Ashmouth Dragon is a lot easier than you would think. And we're playing this over like some of the other cards. There's another card where if every non-creature spell you play, it like pings 1 damage, which is fine. And then of course there's like Bloodthirsty Adversary that you could play too. But actually getting a swing in with Bloodthirsty Adversary seems super difficult right now. So I don't know. Yeah, I think Smoldering Egg might be the choice here. And I hope we get to see Ashmouth today because it's been a while since I flipped this card. So we got 4 Thermo-Alchemists. This card can get ridiculous, especially if you have a couple of them on the board. Yeah, it's nasty. And it has a huge target on its back. Speaking of which, so does Smoldering Egg. So these die to removal often. We got a Shatterskull Smashing, which is actually just really expensive and doesn't hit a lot in the current standard, but I mean, it can maybe help you against mono white or something, so that's important. I'm going to drag it over here into the mana base as well. We got 4 Igneous Inspirations. This is another obvious one. And then, of course, the lessons for it: Environmental Sciences, 3 Start from Scratch, Introduction to Prophecy, Introduction to Annihilation, and a Mascot Exhibition. I did give quite a bit of thought to what lessons should be in here. Cards like Introduction to Prophecy could help you find your Invoke later on, but then also it could help you flip Smoldering Egg or draw into more burn. And then Annihilation's in here because sometimes, like, the opponent will build a creature up to just where your burn can never reach it, and so exiling it might be the best bet, especially if it has like lifelink or something, which is, oh man, lifelink's going to be so good against this deck and I'm scared of it. Also, don't underestimate the Environmental Sciences. I almost played 2 of these. A couple Seize the Spoils. So as an additional cost, discard a card, which could work with Invoke potentially. Draw 2 cards, create a treasure. That treasure is important because ramping to 5 in this deck is just valuable. Speaking of ramp, Chandra. Yeah, this helps you ramp too. And this is a really good one. Sometimes you'll have Chandra out there and it'll mean the difference between winning and losing. And I mean like MVP style, right? And we won't talk about the -7 because I've never -7'd this card for some reason. We'll talk about it if it happens. We got 4 Burn Down the House because sweepers are important and those devils are ridiculous. 4 Invoke Calamity is kind of like what makes the deck work, right? Being able to cast up to 2 instant or sorcery spells with total mana value 6 or less from your graveyard and or hand, don't forget that part, without paying their mana cost, If those spells would be put into your graveyard, exile them instead, and then you exile Invoke Calamity, of course. Some things to note here with this is if you play Invoke Calamity with like a Smoldering Egg on the board, it says without paying their mana cost, so those extra cards won't actually put counters on Smoldering Egg. Although at that point it won't matter too much because this puts 5 counters on Smoldering Egg, so most of the time once you play this, you're probably flipping this anyways, which is pretty sweet, right? Alrighty, yeah, that's the whole deck, guys. Trying to think if there's anything else to go over. Yeah, we're rocking a couple Den of the Bugbears and a Crucible as well over in the mana base, with 22 land plus the 2 Spikefield and the Shatterskull, so 25 total potential mana here. Yeah, let's go hop into some ranked and see how it goes. Okay, opponent goes first. Couple land, play with fire, Shatterskull's a land, potentially. Oof, this is not the greatest, but it's not the worst either. I'm keeping this, I think. I think this is a worthy test hand to see just how it does. We have that March if need be. Okay, land isn't terrible here. We're going to start with the mountain, keep the play with fire open. Instead of the Shatterskull tapped, which is tempting, honestly, especially if this is just Orzhov. Okay, we'll go ahead and ping face and see what's on the top. Another play with fire, I'll keep that. I will keep that, and 2, 3, yeah, we'll get this down, tapped. That's fine. I mean, we're going to want more mana anyways, so end turn. Yeah, Orzhov could be a big problem, but we'll see what they end up doing. Nothing, passing the turn. Oh, I just hope their hand is just full of removal right now. That would make me so happy. I'm gonna send the other March. I was thinking about keeping it, you know, using it for the other March, but nah. Okay, we could march for 2, but we're gonna obviously wait to do that at the end of their turn if we wanted to. We could march for 1, and now, what are the odds of actually getting a one drop thing that we could play? So yeah, I think it's better to just march for 2. Okay, Field of Ruin onto the Shatterskull. Actually helps us thin our deck a little bit, so that is fine by me. Because at this point, we don't need more mana. We really just need to hit that 5. And we're probably going to hit more off the March, too, so... Okay. Shambling Ghast, sure. Okay. So we're going to go ahead, March of the Reckless Joy, X is 2, Submit 0, Autopay. See what we hit off the top here. Hopefully not more 5 drops. Okay. This is decent. Another play with fire. Okay. It's pretty funny, actually. So go ahead, and we could play 2 cards off the March. So we're obviously going to go Mountain. Then we're going to go Roil Eruption to their face. And then we have that play with fire in hand. Pass. I'm expecting a Deadly Dispute from the opponent. And turn. No? Okay, yeah. Orzhov, but their whole hand is just removal. Man, I just hope that's what's going on right here. Okay, they go ahead and swing, and that happens. Anything else? No. Another play with fire coming at the opponent's face. Send the mountain, we don't need it. Another Invoke Calamity. Man, I love it. Okay, so we don't necessarily want to burn down and swing, but being able to burn down again off of one of the invokes while doing a play with fire is pretty darn good. Except the meat hook. The meat hook does potentially gain him some life back. Meanwhile, we could just roil and play with fire, and then do a couple play with fires after that. Now, I think it's better. Try to get as much damage through as possible, and just bank off of them not having a meat hook, or maybe they just... Yeah, I don't know. Like, the concept here is ping face as much as possible. Okay, so they Vanishing Verse one of them. They have the other 3 Vanishing Verses in hand. Do we ping the other Shambling Ghast or let them keep it? Oh, they both didn't die. They created a treasure. Oh, okay. I'm okay with that. Okay, Lolth comes down. I hope that Lolth gains you some life, buddy, because this is gonna start to get a little scary for you. Okay, Invoke Calamity. So... Yeah, Invoke Calamity this turn, burn down the house, play with fire, full swing. Then next turn, it's just play with fire and Roil Eruption off of the other Invoke. Might even keep the Crucible of Defiance in hand. Alright, let's do this. So, Graveyard, we're going to do play with fire. Oh, I'm sorry, burn down the house. Listen to me, guys. I'm all over the place. Play with fire. Play with fire hits face. Get that scry. Let's see what's on the top here, too. Another play with fire. You know what? We're keeping that. Like, that's perfectly fine. Full swing at face. Yeah, they really need, like, a, Okay. So, I guess we take the Lolth. And I guess we take the Shambling Ghast? Or do we just ping face? I think we might just ping face. Oh, the Lolth gains it first. That's my bad, guys. That's my bad. Yeah, we should have just pinged face. It's still looking pretty good for us unless they gain a ridiculous amount of life from a meat hook or something. That being said, by pinging the Lolth, we did make it so that way they couldn't make more spiders before a meat hook or something. I don't know. That might be important. It might not be at the same time, though. Okay, there is a meat hook. Okay. So they get a treasure. Okay. So they're gonna still create a couple spiders here. But I don't think it matters. They have 2 mana open. This is looking really good for us, guys, but I don't know what that 2 mana could be. They could potentially have something, but it's just gonna be another Invoke Calamity. We're gonna go Roil Eruption. Play with fire. And I don't think that 2 mana is doing anything for him. Send the land. There it is. Let's go. First match victory. Looking pretty spicy, guys. I like it. Alright, into the next match. And opponent goes first. The hand is okay. We're going to keep it. Just to try it. Like, yeah, it's not a bad hand by any means. Not having the 3rd mana could be scary. But there's plenty of mana in the deck. And, you know, turn 2 Thermo-Alchemist is no joke, so. Ooh, pretty. I wonder what the opponent is playing then. What we don't want to see is runes. They go ahead and tap that, sure. Down to the Bugbear. Preparing the Thermo-Alchemist. Oh, it's going to be runes. Oh, it's not going to be rune. I don't know. I'm so scared. I've been playing against so many runes recently. Okay, so we're going to get the Alchemist down. So Sungold Sentinel in a Selesnya build. You know what? This would be sick if it was humans. That would be awesome. Although I would still be very scared if it is. So seize the spoils, might ditch a burn down the house. We're gonna take 3 there. Okay, Elite Spellbinder. Probably hit Chandra, but it could also hit Igneous Inspiration, because that is just removal that they might not want to happen. Either way, a burn down the house is looking really good eventually. Okay. The Smoldering Egg. How greedy do we get with all of this, right? Because obviously we're going to want to remove one of these. But Smoldering Egg, like, if we can flip that and just have Ashmouth pinging all of their creatures, like, that's just nasty. Yeah, you know, it's just not, like, it's not the greatest, but it's something. It does block Sun Gold on the ground. So, yeah, I think that was a reasonable draw. That being said, a deck like this is probably going to run some exile removal, right? Like, some Brutal Cathars or something along that those lines. So here comes the swing, and we have to think about a combat trick here too. But I think it's worth the block if there is some kind of trick up their sleeve. I think it's still worth it, yeah. Let's see it. Okay, so 3's getting through. And we can tap the Thermo-Alchemist now whenever. Okay, yeah, the takedown hits the egg. Alright. I think that's okay. I think it was okay to still block. Like, we don't want to go down to 11, and the egg's not going to flip for a little while anyways. Oh boy. Okay, so Seize the Spoil is still looking pretty good to maybe draw us a land this turn. But the lower we get, the more we got to think about this removal. Let's just go for it, man. Let's go for the greed. We're going to tap that Alchemist, ping for 1. With something sticking, maybe a Snakeskin Veil or something along those lines. Opponent is thinking. Okay, here we go. Seize the Spoil. It ramps us with that treasure, which gets us closer to burn down the house, which we're only going to keep 1 for now. Remember, Invoke is in the deck, so like that's important. We'll untap that, get the treasure, hopefully draw a land. Like, we want to get as close to, okay, well that's also things to draw, I guess. Dang. Yeah, we wanted to see a land, but that's fine. Alright, so next turn, we want to consider blocking with the Thermo-Alchemist, letting it die. And, you know, if we don't top deck that land, then Igneous Inspiration pings one of their creatures. Another Elite Spellbinder. Oh, okay. Adeline. Okay. Okay, now we consider just blocking. I think this is a humans deck, by the way. Everything's human so far. If so, that's awesome, opponent. It's good to see. Okay, take the Smoldering Egg. That's interesting. Yeah, we got to get rid of this Sun Gold Sentinel, because they could have easily taken the burn down the house there instead. Okay, take 6, block the 1/1, or let the Thermo-Alchemist die. We're going to have a blocker for Adeline if we don't top deck that land, because we obviously want to burn down this house. Cathartic Pyre does get us closer. Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. Dang. Okay. Do we just bank off of getting that land and let it die? I don't think so. I think we let it live for now. Oh man, the greed in this match. Ow. Still got 1 open here. I do expect like a Snakeskin Veil or something like that. Especially if it's being held up. So no land. Okay. Okay, so yeah, it's good. We saved a chump blocker for the Adeline, which is really good. So it's got to be Inspiration. Take the Sun Gold. The Elite Spellbinder needs to go next. So Alchemist pings face. And we're going to grab the Environmental Sciences. Could you guys imagine if we would have gotten that land? We could have done the same thing, only gained 2 life this time too. Alright, it's the same concept. Hopefully we top deck a land next turn so we can burn the house down. End turn. We could have like Cathartic Pyred this turn too, but yeah, we got to get rid of the Sentinel because if we get an Invoke Calamity, we want to be able to... Like, they're going to start taking more from our grave, which is really, really bad for this deck, so Sentinel had to go. Thalia! Bro! Okay, well now Thalia has to go, but like, what do we even... Oh no! That is awful for us. Yeah. I really wish we would have seen that land last time. Yeah, Lair of the Hydra for 1. And we got to... block the Adeline. Make sure not to accidentally tap your Thermo-Alchemist while trying to block. You can tap it after, of course. Alright, down to 2. And no land off the top. I mean, hey, that happens sometimes. Even if we got it, we're still 1 away from burn down the house now because of the Thalia. So, yeah, really, really solid. Really solid play there from the opponent. We could ping the Thalia, and we still die. We die no matter what. We're just gonna go ahead and grab that land that we've been hoping for, and drop that GG for the opponent as well, which I think I forgot to do in the first game. I don't know. I try to do it at the end of every match, but sometimes I get so hyped, like I just completely forget. Yeah, that was close because we got close to that burn down the house. There's probably a better way that I could have done it. For example, if I would have, hold up, this is important actually. Let me show the battlefield if the game lets me. Okay, view battlefield. If I would have Igneous Inspiration earlier to get that learn, to get the environmental sciences earlier, like we probably had a couple turns there where I could have done that instead of doing some other things. So potentially would have been up to that 5th mana sooner and been able to drop that burn down the house, which would have saved us a lot of time to just set up a board state that let us burn more. So yeah, that is super important. Something to think about. Alrighty guys, into the next match. Opponent goes first again. These hands? I don't know. I mean, I guess it's okay. It's not the best, it's not the worst. Yeah, we keep it. We keep it. We got the play with fire. That's some emergency removal. Hello, sir. Or madam. Let's see. Let's go. Okay. So not the not the Spikefield for sure. We got plenty of mountains here. Immune, do not do this to me, opponent. Do not. Do not do the runes, please. I'm not weeping, you're weeping. Okay, we get to pop their 1-drop if they have it. Yeah, get out of here, generous visitor. This is a Spikefield if I've ever seen one. Oh my goodness. Very nice. Another mountain. That's, you know, that's just what we want to see, game. Just what we want to see. Yeah, you need that. We need this as much early removal as possible. We got to just completely break whatever they're trying to do. If Runeforge Champion comes down now, what is that? That's a 4 toughness, right? I think so. I forget right now. I don't even know. I complain about these rune decks so much. You'd think I would know, but okay. I'm greedy enough to go ahead, play with fire their face, and ditch the mountain off the top of our deck. Yeah, no, Den of the Bugbear, same concept. Ditch it. We don't need more land right now. My turn. Smoldering Egg. Okay. So, it's important to remember that Smoldering Egg is, you know, the counters that it gets is equal to the amount of mana spent, and it means that, like, actual mana spent. So if you, like, make it cost 2 less, that doesn't, like, plug more counters in. So they get the Runeforge champion down this turn, so they must have not done it when I had the 2 mana open intentionally, because I doubt they just top decked this, right? They probably had it available and was like, nah, I don't want it removed. Oop. I'm sorry, guys. I just smacked the mic. I'm just over here flailing my arms around all the time. Okay, yeah, my turn. Okay. Enough mountains game. That's enough. Let's go ahead and probably march for 3. Because this is going to get ugly real fast. They obviously grab Rune of Sustenance because of lifelink, and the amount of stuff that the opponent can do with 3 mana with the Runeforge champion on the board is just awful. So it's a 2/3, by the way. I got to remember that since we're going to be seeing this deck often. Could also march for... No, we got to keep burn. We got to keep burn down the house. Alright, I'm sorry, opponent. Yeah, we're just going to end and see what they do. And probably march for 3. But for example, if we're looking for like another play with fire off the top, we could march for 2. Maybe hit the play with fire. Maybe take out one of their other creatures that they try to lay. Like that kind of thing. It could happen. Okay, Rune of Might gives it trample. So most likely Rune of Sustenance. They're looking for a good swing here, and we're just hoping... Oh, nice. Okay. That's good for us. They tap out here. Taking a bit more damage isn't that bad, so... Okay. So the big question is, when we burn down the house, do we try to take out their champion, or do we try to outrace their lifelink? I'll do this now. Submit 0, auto pay. We might not even burn down the house next turn. Okay, well, I think we do. So no blocks. So burn could kill it. Invoke Calamity is really good. But I think flipping the dragon is even better. You can play 2 of those, but it's just going to be the burn from the side because we have another burn in hand that could turn into devils, right? Whereas the Cathartic Pyre doesn't do anything except discard things, so... It does suck that we can't Spikefield Hazard along with the burn down the house, but... Yeah, I don't think it's worth killing the Runeforge champion. This might be an awful play, but I think we can outrace them. We'll see. We might just die next turn. You like, never know. Okay. It's a 5/6. What you got for me, opponent? Gonna gain a little bit of life. But can you get 15 damage? I don't think so. We'll see. These rune decks can really just, like, look, they can give that haste. Drop another land, like drop another, like their runes are free now, so. Okay, so they must not have anything to give haste to the naturalist. Again, if they only gained the 5 here, like look at this. Oh no, oh no. No, they're gaining 8, and the Kami of Transience comes down too. Okay, that's huge. Getting the Rune of Speed is huge there. Right, now we probably want to wipe the board. Makes me sad, but I mean, Invoke Calamity lets us do things. Yeah, we can't race this with the Ashmouth Dragon. I don't think we can. But we're going to try to get as much damage in as possible, obviously. So it's going to be... It's going to be play with fire to their face, okay? Ashmouth to the face. I think everything to the face, even though we can like ping away some of their creatures here, I still think it's worth just burning it all. Oh man, that's a huge, like there's a different line of play where we can just pick these off, do the Invoke Calamity, and just pick off the rest of them. Oh dang, okay. Crap. Yeah, no, we should do that. We should do that. That's, removing these creatures is way better. Okay, Invoke Calamity. Kami of Transience. Okay, Graveyard. Gonna be Play with Fire. Thank you, opponent. And then burn down the house. Devils. Yeah, that's just way better. I'm glad I thought of it before. Yeah, Ashmouth just being an absolute MVP. Insane. Insanity, guys. Thermo-Alchemist can go to the bottom. We're looking for more straight up burn, like as soon as possible. Down to 5, we have another burn down the house in the hand. Worst comes to worst, we just go ahead and burn it down and let the devils ping the rest of the damage. Wow, I'm glad I thought about killing the creatures, because I was about to go like straight up faces the place and might have messed that up big time. Woo! Sometimes I do that, and like burn decks have like, sometimes they have really difficult lines of play as well, where that wasn't necessarily super difficult. I should have been thinking about killing those creatures off regardless, but yeah. Okay, Runeforge, champion. Get their sustenance, right? They probably grab Rune of Sustenance, unless they already have it in their hand. Right, Rune of Speed, so gotta think they probably already have some sustenance. They drop a mana sustenance, they can swing in with the Runeforge, gain a little bit, but we just have so much value. That's that. I mean, hey, we didn't die, so that's good. GG opponent, wow. Alrighty guys, here's the deck list again, and 66% win rate out of the 3 matches. They were like medium-sized matches, which is good, somewhere around 10 minutes. That's not that bad at all. And they were really good matches. Yeah, we got to beat the Runes deck. We got to beat Orzhov. Like what? Like those are 2 huge decks in Standard right now. But yeah, like this is solid. This is 100% solid. Burn Down the House is way too good. Okay, I'm sorry, not way too good. This is a balanced red card because it is 5 mana. But when you start popping off with it, it's like just amazing. And the Smoldering Egg, wow, wow. I might try to fit 3 of these instead, right? You don't necessarily want 4, but you could go like 3 Alchemists, 3 Smoldering Eggs, because you know, both have a huge target on their back. But when it turns into Ashmouth, like the value that you get from the Ashmouth dragon is disgusting. Just the fact that it's a flying 4/4 in the air too, that you can just swing in with as well. Yeah, it was a good choice to have Smoldering Egg in the deck. I believe so, at least. You know, when you guys are playing this deck, which I recommend, if you have the cards for it, give it a shot and let me know what you think. And let me know if you change anything as well. And yeah, if you guys have the same success with Ashmouth Dragon, you know, being able to flip this Smoldering Egg, this deck does it really well. I would have liked to see Cathartic Pyre come in a little bit more. Like, that removal is important, and discarding would have been nice, and I had a chance to play it, but, you know, it's just one of those things. Guys, this was such a fun one. Like, wow. I mean, obviously, I'm Red Cat MTG, right? So I love red decks and mono red builds and burn and all that fun stuff. Invoke Calamity is just insane. Like, I feel like I sound like a broken record at this point, but all the cards in here just feel insane. Like, it just feels like such a solid, like the cards, yeah, like the cards are just good. They're all solid, right? All right, anyways, enough rambling. Hey, if you made it this far into the video, you guys are freaking champions, and I really do appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.